There are some details in the Epstein story that feel evil in an obvious way. The abuse, the manipulation, the power. But every once in a while, a different kind of detail surfaces. Something quieter, stranger, almost intimate. And somehow, that can feel even worse. Because it suggests what was happening inside Jeffrey Epstein's mind when no one else was in the room. And one of the most unsettling claims to surface from newly released DOJ files is this. A victim told the FBI that Epstein once pointed to a blonde woman in a photo and claimed she was the mother of his child. According to recent reporting on the released material, the victim said Epstein showed her a photograph of a blonde woman on a beach inside his Manhattan mansion. Near that photo, she said, was a disturbing sculpture, a blue, naked, headless, limbless female torso. And when she asked who the woman was, Epstein allegedly said she was the mother of my child. He also reportedly described her with one word: perfect. That single word is what makes the story land with such a cold feeling. Not because it proves anything by itself, but because it opens a window into the kind of obsession Epstein may have had with control, image, and possession. And that is what makes this story different from a lot of the other Epstein revelations. This is not just about who he knew, where he traveled, or what files were hidden. This is about the private mythology he may have been building around himself. The fantasy of creating something in his own image, of treating women not like human beings, but like objects to be selected, displayed, and shaped into some twisted idea of perfection. Even the way the victim described the scene feels eerie. The beach photo, the body sculpture, the word perfect. It sounds less like a family story and more like the inside of a delusion. What makes it even darker is that this is not the only recent report feeding the speculation. Other coverage tied to the broader file releases points to a 2011 message congratulating Epstein on the birth of a baby boy. That message has fueled fresh rumors that there may have been a hidden child somewhere in the background of Epstein's life. But that part remains heavily disputed. The Daily Beast reported that Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, flatly denied Jeffrey had any children and said the baby message did not make sense as proof of anything. So right now, what exists publicly is a disturbing cluster of claims, hints, and denials, not a confirmed secret child. Still, that uncertainty is exactly why the story hits so hard. Because the Epstein case has always lived in that space between what is known and what is only glimpsed through fragments. A witness statement here, an email there, a photo, a memo, a redaction, a rumor that turns out to be attached to something real. And the longer that pattern continues, the more the whole story starts to feel like a house with hidden rooms. Every time one door opens, people find something stranger than they expected. And maybe the most disturbing part is not whether Epstein truly had a child. Maybe the darkest part is that a victim remembered him saying it at all. Remembered the image. Remembered the sculpture. Remembered the word perfect. Because that is the kind of detail that sticks in the mind for a reason. It suggests a person who was not just abusive, but deeply consumed by his own warped fantasies. Someone who may have seen other human beings as pieces in a design only he understood. That is why stories like this keep dragging the Epstein case back into the light. Not simply because of celebrity names or political fallout, but because each new release reminds people how much of his world still feels unresolved. A lot of the public, wants a clean ending to this story, clear answers, a final file, a last revelation that ties everything together. But the Epstein story never seems to work that way. It keeps coming back in fragments, and some of those fragments are more haunting than a full confession ever could be. So whether the claim was true, exaggerated, or part of a manipulation only Epstein understood, it leaves behind the same ugly question. What exactly was going on behind the walls of the world he built? Because when one of the newest details in the files is a victim recalling that Epstein pointed to a woman and called her the mother of my child, the case stops feeling like old history again. It starts feeling alive. And that's what makes it disturbing.